Sorry. Okay, let me repeat what I said again. I'm really humbled by the great AV, whatever you have shown, and it's a great honor, I would say. As I was speaking to some of your friends when we went outside very casually, I'm deep-rooted village man, I can say that. You know, basically, first generation professional, thanks to the parents who gave very good education system. I also studied well. So whenever people ask me in forums like this, is marks important? So what is the answer you people expect from me? I'm sure all of you will be curious to know about the answer, right? Let me give a background. Coimbatore is a society which I am proud of, and all of us should be proud of. It's a self-made society. Whatever the industrialization, what you are seeing today in Coimbatore, and whatever you are blessed to go through, including your own founder, is the result of private entrepreneurship. If I am allowed to say, let me recognize the presence of Mr. Adithya, my colleague in Coimbatore Management Association, Managing Committee. Who has wanted to come, please come. Awesome, please come. Thank you, thanks for coming. If I am allowed to say, this development has happened without much of the support from the government in terms of the presence, I would say. Not in terms of infrastructure nor economic contribution. I may not say that. Whatever the benefits MSMEs are to be accorded, those benefits have been accorded by both central and state governments. There is no second thought about it. But then, to utilize those advantages and grow is an entrepreneurial spirit. Every third person of Coimbatore origin, I am an exception, Dr. Raja is an exception. We have all decided to have our careers in MNCs. And we want to be career professionals. But otherwise, every third Coimbatore you will see, they want to become an entrepreneur. This is there in the blood. But here I would like to give a caution. I said last time, and I would like to repeat here. There is a difference between self-employment and entrepreneurship. Self-employment is an alternate means of employment. I am going to work, I am earning 30,000 rupees, 40,000 rupees. Instead of answering and being part of the formal system, I start something where I can be my own boss. I still earn the 35,000, 40,000 rupees. That's self-employment. It's not entrepreneurship. You continue to grow. You grow along with the inflation. My 30,000 may become 50,000, 50 may become 75, 75 may become 1 lakh. Then what is the entrepreneurship? What is the difference between self-employment and entrepreneurship? Having said that, most of the entrepreneurial journey starts as self-employment. It's a risk-taking ability of an individual where he decides that he will be able to carve something on his own instead of working for somebody else. But that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. So I'm blessed to be part of L&T, which is I still respect as one of the most developed corporates in the world, not in the country alone. Because there's no owner, including the chairman, including the CEO or managing director, is a professional. That's very unique. That's very unique. Across the world, there are very few organizations which are grown extensively by professionals managing them. The just retired Naik started in L&T as a graduate engineering trainee, and he grew to the level of chairman and one of the most daring chairmen which the country has ever recognized. He has grown in very adverse circumstances, preventing many takeovers of L&T. Reliance was a kind of almost took over. Birlas, Kumaram, they wanted to take over L&T. So he was the one who first introduced ESOPs. He said ESOP is one of the ways which he can prevent from predators, prevent L&T by being taken over by L&T. And how many of you are aware, L&T is one of the first companies in the country to introduce ESOPs. Nobody even talks about it. Because the moment we talk about ESOPs, we only talk about Infosys, we only talk about Wipros, all the so-called IT sector companies. But in Coimbatore, still, number one spinning systems in the world, manufacturer of spinning systems in the world. How many of you are aware? Lakshmi Machine Works, based out of Coimbatore, is the number one spinning systems world manufacturers spinning systems in the world. How many of you are Coimbatore here? You people should be at least aware of what I'm saying. So G.K. Devaraaj, he is the one who introduced ESOPs. He said wealth should be distributed. His philosophies are the ones what we follow today as supply chain management professionals. He said, like LMW will focus only on product development, marketing and sales. Manufacturing should be left to the MSMEs. That's how the supply chain network in Coimbatore grew, and that itself bred entrepreneurship to develop on its own. So, A.M. Nayak used to say, managers manage value, leaders add value, entrepreneurs multiply value. 10 should become 100, 100 should become 1,000, 1,000 should become 10, not 10,000 but a lakh. So the multiplicity is what the entrepreneurial characteristic is about. You don't target to grow 10%, 20%. That's the purpose of leaders, growing by 10%, 20%. Entrepreneurs should look at 100%, 200% growth. But today is an era of professional entrepreneurs, what we call technically as intrapreneurs. The market, the success rate of entrepreneurs is not more than 7 to 10%. 10 ventures start, only 10%. One entrepreneur becomes successful. It is very evident. If you look at global geo-economic scenario, we just spoke about geopolitics and geocultural and geosocial requirements, what enables India as a country for the future. But in terms of geoeconomics, if you look at the kind of infrastructure what is required to leverage the demographic dividend. Look at any barometer, for example. Being a developing country, today India has its own advantages. The migration from one sector to all of you would have read about Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. How many of you remember that? Only few. மறந்துடாதீங்க, தூக்கத்தில் எழுப்பி கேட்டாலும் the fundamental is that Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. தயவு செய்து மறந்துடாதீங்க. Whether you are an HR professional or marketing professional, does not make any difference. Fundamentals of management reminds us that Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory. You start with the basic needs, then go up to the esteemed needs. If you want to become a businessman, if you want to become an entrepreneur, you need to understand which segment you want to cater to, and you have to position yourself in that segment. Basic needs எனக்கு தேவை அப்படின்னா நான் அங்கிருந்து எனக்கு என்ன தேவைன்னு யோசனை பண்ணாதான் அந்த மார்க்கெட்டுக்கு என்னால் கேட்டர் பண்ண முடியும். நான் பலமுறை இந்த மாதிரி சந்தர்ப்பங்களில் பேசும்பொழுது நான் ஒரு முக்கியமான கேள்வி கேட்பேன். ஆஸ் இந்தியன்ஸ் நமக்கு ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கொடுக்குறாங்கன்னு வைங்க, ஒரு ரோலக்ஸ் வாட்ச் வாங்குறதுக்கும் ஒரு டைட்டன் வாட்ச் வாங்குறதுக்கும் ஒரு HMT வாட்ச் வாங்குறதுக்கும் எது வாங்குவோம்? ஒரே வேலை ஒரே டிசைன், எது வாங்குவோம்? இல்லைங்களா? நம்ம பண்ற பொருள்ல நமக்கே ஒரு நம்பிக்கை இல்லைன்னா நம்ம எப்படி ரெஸ்ட் ஆஃப் தி வேர்ல்டுக்கு விற்க முடியும்? This is very peculiar about India. It is very, very peculiar about India. If you look at the scams that happens around the world, how many of you believe it has happened because of uneducated people? எந்த ஸ்கேம் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, எந்த fraudulent practices எடுத்துக்கோங்க, it's all because of highly educated and intelligent people. ஹெல்மெட் போட்டு போகணுங்கிறது ஒரு ரூல். இங்க நம்ம எல்லாரும் கோட் சூட் போட்டு இங்க உட்கார்ந்துருக்கிறோம். எத்தனை பேர் without the law and without the rule are interested in safeguarding ourselves? வண்டி எடுக்கும்போது ஹெல்மெட் போடாம எத்தனை பேர் வண்டி எடுக்கணும் சொல்லுங்க. நம்மளோட எஜுகேஷன் லெவலுக்கு, நம்ம வளர்கின்ற விதத்துக்கு ஒரு சட்டம் தேவைப்படுகிறது. நம்மளோட உயிர் காப்புக்கு உத்தரவாதம் தருவதற்கு நம்ம ரெடியா இல்ல, கவர்மெண்ட் ரெடியா இருக்கு. ஒரு சட்டம் கொண்டு வந்திருக்கு, நீங்க ஹெல்மெட் போடாம வண்டி ஓட்டினா யூ கேன் பி ஃபைன். நம்ம மட்டும் இல்லை, பிள்ளைகளும் போடணும் இல்லைங்களா? So what is the gap? Unfortunately, as much as we speak and we are proud of our cultural value system and social value system, the discipline which is required to drive ourselves and our businesses and the organizations which we belong to is one which is missing. Come, please come. Mr. Honorary, HR head of CRI Group.
Hello, sir.
So, this is one which separates our behavior. Indian behavior is different in India. Correct?
Yes.
Different when we go to Singapore, different when we go to Germany, different when we go to US. The same person. When he comes back, he tells anything and everything good about the other country, bad about our country. This is a right attitude. This is a right attitude. No, I am throwing an open question. I do not know really. I never aspired to go abroad. In the sense, to have a presence and career abroad. I never aspired. I don't know why. Always I believed India is the place to grow. I have always believed, I continue to believe India is the place to grow, and I will grow in India. பழைய பழமொழி ஒன்று சொல்லுவாங்க, உள்ளூர்ல விட போகிற மாடு வெளியூர்ல விட போகுமான்னு. அதே பாரதியார் சொல்லியிருக்கார். என்ன சொல்லியிருக்கார்? திரைக்கடலோடி திரவியம் தேடு. அங்கேயே இருந்துருன்னு சொல்லல. அங்கேயே இருந்துருன்னு சொல்ல. அங்க போய் இருக்கிறது அந்த காரணங்கள் சொல்லும் பொழுதுதான் ரொம்ப வருத்தமா இருக்கு. Am I making sense? Nothing to feel sorry about it, but it's an opportunity to correct, opportunity to improve. That's what I'm saying. Tremendous scope for improvement. Today, disposal management is a big business in India. If somebody can do something about recycling, day before yesterday, you all might have read in Hindu paper. There is a company in Tirupur which produces fibers only out of used plastic PET bottles. Subhadra Textiles. It won't be available in textbooks again. And you have to move around. My own request, I keep requesting whenever I get the opportunity to speak to management institutions like this. It is a coexistence. What you can learn within the four walls of an education institution is very limited. What you can try out, what you learn is there in the outside world. Please visit industries as much as possible. Don't worry about the size, don't worry about the type of industry you visit. Just being there will give you an urge to learn more. Again, urge to learn more. And management is one thing which you have to learn and it cannot be taught. Cannot be taught. Textbooks you can learn. Today, when we all grew, there was nothing called internet. So we spend a lot of time in libraries. That's how our learning. But today, at the click of the button, you have everything in front of you. But the problem is you don't know what to leave out. Am I right or wrong? The problem is we do not know what to leave out. In the information highway, what we get at the click of the button, unless otherwise we know what is important to us, unless otherwise we know what is not important to us, which is more important to us now, to know what is not important. The gadgets, all the electronic items which is available at our disposal can be used and can be misused as well. You agree with me or not? Can be used and can be misused as well. I beg to repeat what I said at the beginning. Today, if you look at most of the frauds, most of the scams that happen around the world are because of highly intelligent people. They know how to maneuver the system. So obviously, it's a personal morale which helps us to survive and sustain as a good human being. And management education is one which gives you a holistic understanding of all the requirements of first being a good human being, then becoming a good professional. Unless otherwise, you are a good human being. You think you can be a good professional, you call her. She said she wants to be an HR professional. Right? What is your expectation out of an HR professional? When you want to meet, you met somebody like Dr. Raja, you meet somebody like Mr. Honorary during dinner, you can still spend some time with them. So what do you expect out of them as good HR professionals? How do you define the goodness in an HR professional? What comes to your mind first?
To get things
Is that what you expect from HR? That's a purpose of, please, at least come out with an answer. That's a purpose of an operations manager. Okay, the HR, first thing what we look at is empathy. You agree with me or not? It's empathy what we look at. Mutual respect. That's what we look at. You understand? And HR professional, we should give that. And where does it start? நம்ம வளரும் போது நம்ம என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம் அப்பா அம்மா கிட்டீங்க? பருவங்கள், வித்தியாசமான பருவங்கள்லாம் ஆரம்ப காலத்துல இருந்து வளரும் போது நம்ம என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம் நம்ம அப்பா அம்மா கிட்டீங்க? அன்பு அப்படிங்கிறது என்னங்க? நத்திங் பட் எம்பத்தி அண்ட் ரெகக்னிஷன் இல்லைங்களா? 2 பேர் 3 பேர் இருக்கிறோம் வீட்டில், சிப்ளிங்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. அட்டென்ஷன் நம்ம தம்பி தங்கச்சி, சொந்த தம்பி தங்கச்சி கொடுத்தா கூட நமக்கு வருத்தமா இருக்கு. நம்மள கவனிக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. Yes sir. The balance is brought out by good HR professionals. Like 5 fingers, you need everybody. You need thinkers, you need planners, you need executors. இது எல்லாத்தையும் ஈக்குவேட் பண்ணி பார்க்கணும். Thinkers, planners and requirement for each of the categories is very different. So the balance is brought in by HR professionals. Without any of this, the organization will not succeed. And if it is reverse, right man for the right job, if you don't identify that, you don't succeed. Today, we are looking at multi-skilling and multitasking. That's the order of the game. That's the only way you can grow. I can give my own example. When I was part of LMW, when I grew and was undergoing training, somebody identified this person has potential to grow. Even I was not aware of that potential. So they gave me training across all the functional areas, starting from hardcore machining, I would say, not manufacturing, machining, then inspection, quality, purchase, sales, design, development, all the areas I was trained. And that exposure is required if you want to grow in career. Very, very important. And you should demonstrate and you should make the rest of the world aware that you are ready to take that kind of responsibilities. It's our responsibility. Again, I go back to the original statement I made. Managers maintain value, leaders add value, and entrepreneurs, but it's a phase. You join as a manager, as a management graduate, you join as a manager. But then, if you don't have the aspiration to become a leader, you cannot blame the organization or your bosses. You have to demonstrate that aspiration to become a leader. Is it enough to demonstrate the aspiration to become a leader? Then our behavior has to change. Our behavior has to be accommodative of the leadership characteristics and leadership requirements. What are the leadership characteristics and leadership? Learning. Learning is first, unlearning is second. When do you learn? Only when you start unlearning, you start learning. Right? Beliefs, today change is permanent, friends. Nothing is more permanent than change. You don't get excited. Today is same as yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be same as today. That give excitement. You all expect newness every day. Am I right or wrong? You all expect newness every day. Where does the newness come from? Does it come from the external world or it comes from within? I'm not talking philosophy, I'm talking business. Don't for any second think that I'm talking philosophy. I'm not talking philosophy at all. I'm talking business. I'm based on pure business. That's the opportunity, the change is the opportunity. Digital economy. எந்த ஒரு சந்தர்ப்பத்திலையும் நான் பிஜேபி ஸ்போர்ட்ஸ் பர்சனாக என்னை எடுத்துக்காதீங்க. But I can tell that it's because of the single man's leadership. ராஜா ஒத்துக்க மாட்டாரு, பட் அது உண்மை அதுதான். He was able to drive the country towards digitalization. Today the fastest adoption in digitalization happens only in our country. Every nook and corner. பூ விற்கிறவங்க, வடை வச்சு விற்கிறவங்க முதல் கொண்டு எனக்கு ஜிபே இருக்காங்க. எங்கேயுமே நீங்க பார்க்க முடியாது. Cash circulation has become less than half. Imagine the cost of the economy. Printing cost is reduced by half because of the digital economy. The reach. நீங்க phone இருந்தா போதும், வேற எதுவுமே தேவையில்லை, பர்ஸ் தேவையில்லை. Theft, social change, social harnessing is happening today. phone மட்டும் தொலைக்காம பார்த்துக்கணும், அவ்வளவுதான். பிளாக் பண்ணிடலாம், தொலைஞ்சாலும் நீங்க if you recognize that you lost your phone, you can block it immediately. யாருக்குமே பிரயோஜனம் இருக்காது, யூஸ்ஃபுல்லா இருக்காது. ஒரு 4-5 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி இந்தியா is going to be net exporter of cell phones எத்தனை பேர் நம்பி இருப்பாங்க சொல்லுங்க? It's because of the conviction and commitment what this government had on the country and the ability of the people, which is driving us towards the kind of economic forethought what we are seeing today. 10,000 crores has come only from cell phone exports. But same thing what today we are driving, looking at Tesla wanted to come to India, but we are now dictating terms to Tesla. We are now, Tesla Tesla Elon Musk because it's a big inspiration for all of us. He's beyond entrepreneurship. I rate him beyond entrepreneurship. He's much better than even Steve Jobs. Much better than even Steve. Steve Jobs is not an innovator. How many of you believe in that, what I'm saying? Steve Jobs is not an innovator. You know who Steve Jobs is? Apple. CEO, the CEO of Apple. How many of you know that he's not an innovator? He's an integrator. And he's a good salesman. Yesterday I met somebody from US. One of our major customers came in. He said, I have 3 sons. I am a salesman. I have 3 salesmen with me. Party yesterday he was telling me. That's the kind of confidence what a leader should have. What is his core characteristic? What is his core requirement? So as I began saying, India is the country of the future. Why do I say that? It's because of the strong fundamentals what this country has. The population, the youngsters like you, the scope to earn for yourself, the scope to spend. But having said that, do not move away from the habit of saving. But through a samvarisa, 20% minimum save pani padanga. Economic uncertainties are going to be there. Headwinds are going to be both upward and downwards. North and south, the headwinds illama irukadu. Rendukume nama thayaragum. North pombodhu we can always equip ourselves. But south varumbodhu appadan the savings habit will help us out. There are good things what we have to learn from the developed economies, but there are also things which we should not learn from developed economies. The credit card economy. US is known as a credit card economy. Debt illama yarume irukmattaanga. Business la normala pesum finance professional professors irukkinga. Finance is outsourced or what again? He is not here today. Finance la solli kodukkumbodhu debt equity ratio la pot solli kodupanga 33% ungalku debt irukkalam. I mean 33% equity irundha podum 66% debt irukkalam. That's what we call as debt leveraging. I mean right or wrong? I think that's still being taught in the institutions. That's all good, but that's an assumption that the economy is going to be stable. Yaar become students at the beginning. Many நான் சொல்றது கரெக்டா இல்லைங்களா? 33% equity இருந்தா போதும் 66% debt வெச்சுக்கலாம்ங்கறத நீங்க சொல்லி கொடுக்குறீங்க. படிச்சிட்டு வரீங்க. இல்லைங்களா? But that's under the assumption that the economy is going to be stable. Economy will be able to withstand that 66% cost of debt. But in reality, I have developed my own policy that I will, to the extent possible, I will work in a zero debt environment. You can check with Dr. Rajan. What I'm saying is right. The first thing, moment I took over the company, I said debt has to be zero. That's my philosophy. I don't want to have any single debt. As a mere circumstances demand that I need to have debt, I will not go beyond 1% of my sales. That is what the economy can bear. Otherwise, you have to pay out only from your earnings. The GP, gross profit margin, is today dictated by the world, not by you. The world controls the gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is the result of GDP, strength of GDP. It's the result of Porter's 5 force analysis. Your supply, demand situation, suppliers, composition, competition, whatever you call it as. இதெல்லாம் மறந்துடாதீங்க. மைக்கேல்ஸ் 5 ஃபோர்ஸ் பிரின்சிபலும் தூக்கத்தில் எழுப்பி கேட்டாலும் சொல்றோம். அது முடிஞ்சதா இல்ல செகண்ட் இயர்ல தான் வரீங்களா? எத்தனை பேர் ஞாபகம் வச்சிருக்கீங்க 5 ஃபோர்ஸ்? பரவாயில்ல, நாட் பேட். இதெல்லாம் சில ஃபண்டமெண்டல்ஸ்ங்க. 4 பீஸ் மாதிரி இதெல்லாம் எப்போ கேட்டாலும் ஞாபகம் வரணும். இல்லைங்களா? எப்போ கேட்டாலும் ஞாபகம் வரணும். ஃபண்டமெண்டல்ஸ். ஐ எம் ஓகே, யூ ஆர் நாட் ஓகே. அப்படின்னு என்ன? டிரான்சாக்ஷன் அனாலிசிஸ் படிச்சீங்களா? ஐ எம் ஓகே, யூ ஆர் நாட் ஓகே. Parent-adult child relationship. சொல்லி கொடுத்தீங்க. OB-ல வரும் ஆர்கனைசேஷன் பிஹேவியர்
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இயர்
அதெல்லாம் மறந்து போயிட்டாங்க. செகண்ட் இயர் வந்து சில மறக்காதீங்க தயவு செய்து. இதுதான் that's what I said. As a professional, you need to be first good human being. அந்த good human being ஓட characteristics தான் interpersonal relationship. இதை நீங்க நல்லா படிச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா, because most of you are going to be challenged with educated spouses in both sides. You are going to be equally educated, is not better than the other one. Managing equanimity is very very difficult. ஒருத்தர் மேல ஒருத்தர் கீழே இருந்தா ஈஸியா மேனேஜ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். செக் பண்ணி பாருங்க போத் மிஸ்டர் அண்ணாதுரை அண்ட் டாக்டர் ராஜன். வெர்டிகல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் இஸ் வெரி வெரி ஈஸி. Leader, subordinate is very very easy, but at the same level if you look at, it's very difficult to build teams. Am I right or wrong? The dynamics, interpersonal communication dynamics only comes from there. I mean, I'm sure you will also face the same challenges in running an institution as well. I mean, there is no, again, uneducated people like village போனீங்களா 10 பேர் எப்பவுமே சேர்ந்து உட்கார்ந்திருப்பாங்க. சிட்டில போய் பார்க்க முடியுங்களா அத? That's why I'm proud to be a village. I'm still proud to be a village. My family value systems are very strong and I still continue to live in a village. எதனால தெரியுது? I still continue to live in a village and enjoy every moment of my livelihood in the village. No single moment of no regret. Neither for my background nor for what I'm living today. The way I can check. I'm always proud to be what I am. Always. And that belief is required. We start regretting, we will not have time to look at the opportunities. We start regretting for what we don't have, what we have not done. We will not have time to look at. Am I right or wrong? கிடைக்காத பத்தியே யோசிச்சுன்னா கிடைக்கிறது விட்டு போயிடும். நமக்கு வேண்டுங்கிறது தேடாமையே போயிடும் இல்லைங்களா? So we have to understand the SWOT. What are the strengths? Obviously we need to know our weaknesses, and these two will help us understand what the opportunities are. Once you look at the SWOT, you will obviously look at the threats as well. At your level, the threats comes out of your peer pressure. நீங்க ஆதித்யா ஸ்கூலுக்கு எத்தனை மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் இன்ஸ்டிடியூஷன்ஸ் கம்பீட் பண்றாங்களோ that's your first threat. Either you are an entrepreneur or you are a second threat is from within yourself. You have to compete. The competitive spirit has to come from the batchmates. The competitive spirits. Each one should complement each other to compete with each other. We should not like an Indian craft story. Indian craft story தெரியுமா இல்லைங்களா? தெரியாது. Craft story கேள்விப்பட்டது இல்லைங்களா? கிராஃப்ட்னா அட்லீஸ்ட் தெரியும். என்னது? சாப்பிடுறது பொருள். கேள்விப்பட்டது இல்லைங்களா இந்தியன் கிராஃப்ட் ஸ்டோரி? நீங்க கண்டிப்பா தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும் சார் ப்ரொஃபஷனல். அது என்ன, நான் நண்டு பிடிச்சி இந்தியன் நண்டு பிடிச்சி உள்ள போட்டீங்கன்னா என்ன பண்ணுங்க, ஒன்றும் மேலே வரக்கூடாது, அதையும் சேர்த்து எடுத்து வச்சு. That's what happens in Indian system actually. Very unfortunate. Despite high level of cultural value system, social value system, and whatever we are proud of the mutual dependency and mutual support, unfortunately, when we look at our peers, we don't allow others to grow beyond us. நண்பன் படம் பார்த்துருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். என்ன நடக்கும் விஜய் கதை? ரொம்ப ரெண்டு க்ளோஸ் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் will not be happy when he comes first in the class. பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? அதுதான் ஃபேக்ட். உண்மையாக may not express, but the fact is that when our closest friend does well, we are not proud of them or her. We are jealous. There is a difference between being competitive and being jealous. Jealousness is a negative influence, whereas competitive spirit is a positive influence. So that competitive influence you need to develop. That's what the transaction analysis teaches you. We